that's every night. Can't get enough, creeping up my fucking spine, baby. You know I've been working towards the only time I hit you up is late at night. It's late at night, yeah, yeah. She my kryptonite, that's every night. Can't get enough, creeping up my fucking spine, baby. You know I've been working towards the only time I hit you up is late at night. It's late at night, yeah, 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 yeah. Baby, I'm sorry if I hit you up and faded. The only time I hit you up is when I'm wasted. Girl, you just all up in my mind, I can't erase it. Now girl, just ride with it, baby, just ride with it. I wrote this down for you and I so we could vibe with it. Don't listen to all of those words cause they got lies in it. The only thing that separates us is that time difference. She my kryptonite, that's every night. Can't get enough, creeping up my fucking spine, baby. You know I've been working towards the only time I hit you up is late at night. It's late at night, yeah, yeah. She my kryptonite, that's every night. Can't get enough, creeping up my fucking spine, baby. You know I've been working towards the only time I hit you up is late at night. It's late at night, yeah, yeah, yeah. Late at night, I hit her late at night. She wanna stay the night. I told her, baby, you should cut, but I just say it nice. She in her feelings while I'm never tryna say it twice. One time, the only time, and she would never get with this again. Finish off with her and then I meet her friends, yeah, yeah. Shawty said she fell in love with the bands. She just like my clothes, she just like my trends, yeah. She my kryptonite.
Cybersecurity expert Charles Tendell.
Systemic failures that brought their whole systems down.
Charles Tendell, he's a certified ethical hacker.
Your emails, it turns out, are not nearly as private as you think.
Show really how vulnerable we are.
Charles Tendell, who deals with hackers all the time, says,
if you have to ask yourself, is this right? It probably isn't.
Welcome. What's going on, New Bern? Welcome once again here to the Charles Tendell Show. You know who I am and you know what I'm about. If not, you know where you're going. Over to the CharlesTendellShow.com, and while you're there, do the thing. Like, subscribe, share, and do all that other fantastic stuff you do online over at the CharlesTendellShow.com. And if you guys are new here, if you're new to the show or you're new to this whole entity that we call New Bern Live, you know where you can go there too. You can go online to the Facebook page and join the New Bern Live group, or follow the Facebook page to see the wonderful things that are created out of New Bern Live. If you don't know what it is an entire lineup of local content creators here in the New Bern area. We like to call ourselves the local media militia. It's 8 a.m. It is 63 degrees this morning. And Trevor, good morning, sir. How are you?
What's going on,
You got buttons to push, having fun. Doing good, man. Doing good. So it's another Tuesday morning in the studio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tendell Tuesdays, having a blast, doing all kinds of fun stuff. What did you get to do this weekend?
Oh, man, let's see what I did. I went out to Raleigh.
Fun.
Worked with some people out in the studio. Got some good quality music done. Got some more people interested in cryptocurrency. Talked about my book a little bit. Did some, marketing.
Very nice, very nice. We're going to get some real dedicated time to get you to talk about that. It's crypto estates, right, or blockchain estates?
Blockchain estates.
Blockchain estates. All about investing your money and understanding how to use blockchain and cryptocurrencies to your advantage. If you're interested, swing by the studio and talk to T Hooks and see what you got going on over there. Whoa, I'm hearing myself. Make sure you got the play off over there. Well, I was hearing the intro one more time, but it doesn't really matter. So come by the studio, check that stuff all out, and get involved there. So if we've got a couple of house cleaning things that we guys need to talk about, we have to talk about them this morning here on the Charles Tendell Show, because I have been pushing them all week long for about the last month or so. If you are still interested, the Next Best Thing Children's Consignment Store, if you've got little people that need clothes going back to school here coming up after the end of the summer, I know that's the only reason summer exists, is to end at some point and get the kids back to school. But if you need clothes for your little ones, check out the Next Best Thing Children's Consignment Store, both in New Bern and in Havelock. You can find their location at 2656 MLK Boulevard here in New Bern. Give them a call, 252-514-6857, or find them on Facebook, the Next Best Thing NC. If you need ridiculously good clothes at a ridiculously low price, check out the Next Best Thing Children's Consignment Store right here in New Bern. And if you swing by the Charles Tendell Studio, home of New Bern Live, we've got a voucher for you. If your little people need clothes and you want some help doing that, come on by the studio. We'll get you a voucher and we'll cover your ticket or your tab over the next best thing children's consignment store you can get up there. Also, coming up this weekend, we've got a Black mental health fair called Let's Cope. If you're interested, over at the Stanley White Recreation Center, July 14th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., you can contact, I believe it's Dr. Javante Bass at 252-571-7142. Again, it's Let's Cope, and you can find all of this and more information over on the New Bern Live Facebook page and getting involved there. So in the studio this morning, we've got Dre Nix from the Boys and Girls Club, where we're going to be talking about what the Boys and Girls Club is doing here in New Bern, and a new recent thing that happened where they've been raising money with local businesses here in New Bern to support the Boys and Girls Club. So Dre, welcome to the Charles Tendell Show.
Well, thank you
for being
for
here.
having me. Good morning.
Good morning. So give me this little background. You are the regional vice president of the Boys and Girls Club. What does that actually mean?
That means I actually oversee 6 clubs. I serve Carteret and Craven County. Our organization is Boys and Girls Club of the Coastal Plain. Actually, we just celebrated 1 year of our merger. And I oversee 2 clubs in New Bern, club in Havelock, the Sunshine Lady Club in Morehead City, and our Beaufort Club and Beaufort Elementary School site. So 6 clubs. So that's my responsibility.
Very nice. So being the regional vice president, so what does your job actually do? You're supervising, but what does it entail?
Well, what I do is, first and foremost, I support the club directors at each of those sites. They're the ones that, with their staff members, that take care of all of our kids in our local communities. And my job is to do great things like what I'm doing today, get out into the community and promote what we're doing, help assist our major gifts officers and our marketing folks with raising funds, and basically just let the community know who we are, what we're doing, and why we need their support.
Very nice.
The main thing that I do is support my club directors, because without them, none of this happens.
Nice. Now, in terms of getting out there and looking for community support, now the Boys and Girls Club has been, it's pretty well supported. At least I would think it would be pretty well supported. Everybody wants to do something with the Boys and Girls Club, but what are some of the things that the Boys and Girls Club are doing here regionally?
Well, here, as you know, the New Bern site, starting here, we opened in October of 2015, and I would have to say, over my career, I have gone into different communities on the civilian side and the military side where Boys and Girls Club is concerned, and I would say that the support from the New Bern community has been incredible. I say this every time I get the opportunity. We were received with open arms by individuals, by organizations, local churches. Everyone has been so supportive of, getting us started, and in any capacity that's needed, we've always had that support. Mm-hmm. So the community is, incredible is probably the word that I would say for New Bern. Mm-hmm. You should be very proud to be part of this community, because they've been extremely giving and supporters of Boys and Girls Club and the young men and women that we serve every day.
I hear that about how New Bern actually comes together pretty quickly to do things. And I remember that was I know there was some contention about it here recently, but I guess it's the city slogan, "It all comes together here," or something like that.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And if you go in with the right mindset, for me, when I go into a new community and we're opening doors, Boys and Girls Club comes into community because we're invited. Mm-hmm. We don't just open doors, we're invited into community. And I always look to collaborate, because I said, for what we do with youth development, no one organization can do it alone. Mm-hmm. And so one of my first things that I do is I reach out to other nonprofits and those who've been in the community prior to us coming in, and find out, how can we as Boys and Girls Club work with you to serve our youth and teens better. Mm-hmm. And I think that that has always worked for me. And in New Bern, just saying those words, so many doors has opened up, and so many folks have been so welcoming in any capacity to help us.
Nice. Now, like I said, here in New Bern, it's been kind of a unique experience. I mean, I'm from bigger cities. I've Denver, different size cities out there, Atlanta, things of that nature. But when I got here and I started to see, like, this community seems to want to get involved. Like, it wants to engage with so many people. There was a gentleman that we talked about actually last week on New Bern Live and here, where we kind of were trying to. He had a tree fall on his house, right, during a storm, and you wouldn't believe the amount of community support that came out to say, let's help this guy, let's get him taken care of. So it's really cool to see that it extends into all kinds of places. So
it really does.
So great support. You got welcomed in by the community to do different things. What is the Boys and Girls Club? What are you doing for the youth in the New Bern area?
Well, a lot of what we do is focused on, we have 3 priority outcomes that we focused on. Everything we do, and this is my speech to the kids. Regardless if we take you on a field trip, if you're doing homework, if we're just sitting and talking and mentoring, it all goes back to 3 outcome priorities: good citizen, good character and citizenship, a healthy lifestyle, and academic success. And that pretty much, if you think about it, encompasses everything as we were growing up that makes us the person, and we continue to grow as individuals. So every activity, every field trip, every event usually goes back to that. And then we also, that's what's on the table, but then we also, as club directors and staff members working with the kids day to day, we try to give them experiences, because every club is the same, but every club is unique in the fact that a club takes on the identity of its community and its kids. So you find what's unique in your community. You find the things like, I'm very focused in the New Bern area, on making sure that our kids know what New Bern is about and the role New Bern has played in North Carolina, whether it's in politics or, just in the development of North Carolina and New Bern itself. I mean, come on, we're the Pepsi capital of the world. Pepsi was made here. That's like the coolest thing ever.
Claim to fame is Pepsi.
Right. But there's so much more to that as well. Visiting the History Center, one of the saddest things to me is that the History Center and the display there that they have back there at the North Carolina History Center, most of our kids, our first summer, we went to that, and most of our kids had never been to that. So we provide hope and opportunity through those through field trips and things like that. And like, I know we were just talking before we got on air about potentially having some of the teenagers visit to see what you're doing in the community,
I'd love to have
because
them in the studio.
they need to see that they may be, who knows, there's the next Charles Tendell might be out there.
I'm looking for him.
Right, he may be right there at my Boys and Girls Club.
Hopefully he's asleep at home right now, with his siblings.
But that's what it's about. Is providing hope and opportunity through those programs for our young kids.
Very nice. So in terms of field trips are a good program. When you take them out, you get them engaged in the community.
Yes.
You teach them how to be involved, and then the education portion of it. So what are some of the specifics, like, other than the field trips? What are you guys doing for education? What are you doing for getting the children involved and out in the community?
One of our major programs is called Power Hour, at Making Every Minute Count, and that's our homework help project. Learn Power Hour. Those are all academic programs that are focused on the academics, and we do that in the after-school program. The kids come in and we dedicate an hour. We create an environment. Like I said, most clubs are different, so sometimes we don't always have a room where they can just go and have homework. But we create an environment in the club for at least an hour where they can get the help by staff members, local volunteers that come in, mentors, and the kids will get the assistance that they may need. Now, they may not get it all done, but at least it gets started, because unfortunately for some kids, the help that they get at the club each day, that's probably the only homework help that they're going to get.
Oh my!
So it's so that's very important to us. And there's other as they move, they rise in grade and age. Different programs, like in our teen programming, we have programs that's geared towards getting them on track for graduation. And so we rarely stay engaged in the lives of our club members, because we do have members that walk in at 6 years old and we attend graduation when they graduate in grade 12. We do have those members.
Wow.
And so we're able to follow them through specific programming based on development throughout their school career. So it's very involved, and every child walks into the club for something different. There's the child that probably doesn't need academic help because they're the A students, or they've got it, but we do want that child in the club because that young man or young woman can now assist a club member, a teammate, a clubmate with their homework. And so by doing that, we get them involved and understanding and giving back. So there's so much connected to what we do, because what we do, so now you walked into the club and it's time to do homework. Well, I've got my homework done. Well, but I can assist another club member with their homework. And so we give them credit for that as giving back to their community, giving back to we call it service to club. We're very big on civic duty. We tell every child in our club that at least an hour out of the month they're able to give back to club or get engaged in community service. For example, our teenagers here in New Bern just recently assisted Habitat for Humanity in painting and renovating.
Was it the Paint Your Heart Out?
Yes, they get involved. So we're very involved in different, like I said, we're always looking for different ways to get our young men and women involved in the community, giving back and understanding why it's important. I always tell this story. One of my 6-year-olds asked, "Well, Ms. Dre, I'm too young to help." I said, "No, you're not." I said, "If you're walking down the street and you say, 'Hi, good morning,' and smile at someone, you may have made their day, and that's you giving back." But they're like, "It's just a smile." I say, "Yeah, but for that person, it might have been the first smile that someone took the time to give them today. So you just cheered that person up. That's giving back." So it's just, we start like that and build on that as they grow.
No, I like that. I mean, you're getting them at a young age and you're watching them develop. And you'd said that they come in when they're first grade or whatever grade they are. And then you have some that make it all the way up and through till high school. Now, do you follow the graduates after high school? Do they still have resources? Do many of them come back into the club and still
Definitely.
help?
Actually, our proudest moments is when we have a club member that graduates and comes back and we hire, and then even prouder when they continue and they have a Boys and Girls Club career. In my career, I think I have a couple of club directors out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when you see them and to see, you remember, the moment you met that young man or woman as a teenager or as a fifth grader, and to see them now in a staff meeting or as a colleague and stuff, it's a really proud moment for those of us that do this.
That's amazing. I mean, I've never volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club, and that's something that I've always wanted to. But I've got a small tribe of my own, so I'm chasing my kids around. I'm always looking for stuff for them to do. Yeah. But I have, in my other career, in my cybersecurity career, I've watched young people that I brought right out of high school and mentored into their career, and now they're off doing tremendous things, and I'm running to them at board meetings, like you said, and I'm running into them at conferences, and I'm just like, wow, it's kind of like raising your own.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And they are, I would say things like my kids and stuff, because they walk in those doors, and the moment we get that membership, because, the old adage, it takes a village, and we want to be very much part of that village. And we know, again, everyone walks in for a different reason, and we try to provide, an environment where every child feels welcomed, safe, and develop, meaningful relationships with the staff. We do a lot of great and wonderful things, but the thing that we're most proud of is the relationship that we develop with these young men and women, at the club.
Nice. Well, so we're on the New Bern Live platform, and we're on 103.9 FM. But on New Bern Live, we have all the great interaction that comes from Facebook and the comments that are out there. You're really popular. You've got an entire fan club going in the comments. Go Dre. You got the smiley face. You got a friend of mine, James, is watching. You got someone that said you're the real MVP, Lork.
Family.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really, really popular. That's fantastic. And even says New Bern focused out there. And shouts out to Garrett Biss actually engaging and joining in the conversation in the comments out
Thank
there.
you, everyone. I appreciate that.
So in terms of right now programs or right now support that the Boys and Girls Club needs, what are some of the things that you have going right now, or some of those initiatives, and some of the different levels or kinds of ways that people can come and support you?
Well, right now we're in the middle of summer camp. Yeah, we're 5 weeks in of 9. Woo! So
Summer camp.
shout out to my staff doing a great job all across the board. 17 clubs, seven counties. So all of Boys and Girls Club Coastal Plain. Keep hanging there, guys. We're almost there. But we are in the middle of summer camp doing the field trips and all the great things. Some of the initiatives here locally at the New Bern Club that we're doing, like, as you know, we have a teen center where we're serving middle schoolers and high schoolers right on 1203 Queen Street. Great space. One of the things that I'm looking to do is to just change the concept of the teen center and trying to connect our programming with workforce development. One of the things that I've noticed in and doing some research in the last year or so, trying to see what can I do to really get our teens connected to what comes next. And one of the things, everybody talks about science, technology, engineering, and math, but in looking at that and the jobs that are out there, I realized that a lot of the folks that run these companies or hire these folks, they're saying, well, yes, they can do that stuff, but the soft skills are missing. So we're, thank you to ECU Honors Program. They have assisted us with some funding to help us bring in some new tech, and we've done some painting and did some upgrading to our teen center.
Nice.
So we're hoping to working with Carteret Community College and connecting, and I'll put it out there now. Any local businesses or so who would love to just reach out to me and, work with us in getting the information to our kids. And I always tell folks, I have the audience, and have bus will travel. So, we come to you. Better yet, even if it's maybe an hour, I always tell folks an hour out of the month, if you can, set up to come by the club and talk to the kids about what's happening. I mean, I've learned a lot in the last year or so, just in a lot of the folks that I've met, the meetings that I take. New Bern has a lot to offer, and one of the things I've learned also is there's companies want our kids to stay locally.
Yes.
Because folks you go to school and then you tend to stay
gravitate wherever you are.
But they want them to stay locally. And so my goal is to try to help with that. But our kids, they don't know what's out there, like in the industrial, we have a lot to offer with the industries here.
Yeah.
Bosch and warehouse and all. But the kids don't know that. So we're trying to set up where we can have take trips there, or even have those individuals come to the club and say to the kids, hey, you're going into grade 9. Here are some of the classes that you can take that would help you to get there, because this is what we offer at different levels. Maybe mentor, if one of our kids is interested in whatever it may be. I always use welding because I know for a fact that they're looking for welders out there, but nobody does that anymore. So we talk about a lot of the top graded engineering type classes, but I'm a real person. Not all of our kids are going to go there, but they can make a good. They can make a good. Have a good lifestyle here, and there's good local jobs that are available to them, and I know the industries are looking for them. So I want to be able to, through the teen center and through our Boys and Girls Club, from here to Beaufort and Pitt County, I want the Boys and Girls Club to be almost like that channel that connects all of that, that conduit that connects them to the community. So walking through our doors, I want teenagers to know, well, let me see what the Boys and Girls Club. They may come in just to play pool,
there's a pool hall at the Boys and Girls Club?
Oh, we have pool tables.
Oh, don't worry, I'm there.
Some of the best pool.
I'm gonna play hooky for the rest of the day.
And we have the Boys and Girls Club blue felt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Very nice.
But so they may walk in to do that, or they may come to a tea night, something, and stay for something else. So it's just being there to connect them to their community. The school district and they're doing a great job, but we just want to help in making that happen and getting the information to our kids.
Nice.
That's the goal.
Now, in terms of, like you had mentioned some of the skill sets that you wanted to get people, the soft skills, and then you said there were engineering jobs that people were going to go after. Is there anything out at the Boys and Girls Club where they're learning kind of the entrepreneurial skills, where they're learning that you don't always have to go and work for somebody else? It's a great way to learn, but you can go and start your own business. So are there any programs like that?
Yeah, and we do have programs like that where we're trying to encourage that. But again, in fairness, my staff members may not be qualified to assist our kids, but that's where individuals, say like yourself, can come in, and I call it asking for time and talent. And funding is always great, but time and talent, I think, and mentoring is even better most of the time. And I tell folks, for most volunteers, it's just, fill out the paperwork. We do a background check, of course, because you're working with young people. Once that's cleared and once we have you on the books, if you have 1 hour out of the month, and most folks think, well, I don't have. I remember telling someone, a retired teacher, and she said, well, I said, ma'am, if you came in and you sat down with one of my kids, just one, and just had a conversation, that's a great help. And she was like, well, that doesn't make sense because you have like 60 other kids. I said, yeah, but you taking the time to listen to that young man or young woman play a game of cards or Uno. They're avid Uno players, Oh yeah, still trying to figure out the rules.
Vicious, I'm sure.
Yeah, But I said, but you taking the time to focus on that one child, is going to make a difference, and them knowing that you'll be back. I said you'll be amazed at the change that. I know for me as a Boys and Girls Club employee, I would see a change in that child because to them, Mr. Charles is coming to see me, and he's interested in what's going on with me, and they need that. A lot of them, they do need that. So time and talent, mentors, that's something that we really, and male mentors. We need men.
That's something that I actually wonder about. Yeah. So you said a lot of these young people come to there for one reason or another. They're there, and you're saying that we need more male mentors at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
Is it just that there's a resource that people don't know is there? Is it why do you think you're missing out on more of the participation or the people that are there? You had said that some people just think they don't have the time.
Right. Well, I think for one. You mentioned the word volunteer to some folks, and it's like, oh my goodness, I got kids of my own, I work, 50-hour weeks, blah, blah, blah. But so that's part of it. And also, we may have to do a better job at getting that information out there in that need. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's just hard they don't qualify, but I would rather try to, put in 10 folks and get maybe 2 than none at all. And what's happening is that we just don't have, women, we have no problems with women, because naturally we're nurturers, and they are quicker to say, oh, I'll do it. And so, but our young men need men, think about it, unfortunately, most of them, they live at home with a grandmother or an aunt or a mom, and men are missing from their lives. But we all know both girls and boys need a male influence in their life. Those of us who are fortunate to have, whether it's a grandfather, an uncle, or even brothers around us as females to, kind of show us the way and, tell us the tactics and the things that we'll face out there. Girls need that as well. But our boys also, they really need, I call it, when I talk to them, I say, just how to be manly men. They just need that. They just need to throw the football around and just have a conversation, or, something's bugging them. And, doesn't matter how much of a relationship, Miss Dre has with them. It might be something that they will quicker speak to you, Mr. Charles, about because it's a guy thing, and that's the reality. And they just don't have enough outlets for that. And so, that's my soapbox, it's that we really, the men, and I know they're out there. There are good men and mentoring quality men in all of our communities, and it's not just New Bern. all of our clubs across our organization, we just need to see more, man. We need to see individuals like yourself who's out there, you know, doing positive things, and like you're saying, that whole entrepreneurship. Let them see, hey, somebody like me has accomplished this. Now you can share your story, you know, because who knows? You know, we have kids who unfortunately don't think that. They think where they are now is where they're going to be. And I tell them every day, I said, your situation now doesn't have to be your situation in your future. You determine, you know, your future. You know, I always use myself as an example. I'm from an island that's really small, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If somebody had said to me at age 9 or 10 that, oh yeah, you know, you'll get to travel the world and do all these things, I'd be like, you know, but opportunities and being prepared, you know, when those opportunities came, and I got those opportunities. Now, you know, now I can go back and I can share my story or encourage other kids like myself. And so, you know, that's really what it's about.
I like that. Now, I mean, I visited the Caribbean when I was younger. I actually lived in St. Thomas, so the 11 miles long, 3 miles wide island that it was. And there were a lot of children that were there that was their whole world. They actually did not like it passed beyond the water, maybe one of the other islands. They were content with where they were. They didn't realize everything was out there. And when those opportunities presented themselves, they were like, I don't really know whether that's for me or not. So in terms of mentoring or program opportunities at the Boys and Girls Club, what sort of things can somebody expect if somebody comes in and wants to volunteer as a mentor? Can they create a program? Can they join a program? Can they bring one of the young people over and be like, hey, come hang out in my office for the entire day and learn what I do?
Yeah, you covered everything that we do.
Oh, nice.
And this is what I love about Boys and Girls Club. I think from the beginning when I started as a part-time staff member running the gym, is that we do have those programs, and Boys and Girls Club of America does an incredible job of getting us the facilitator's guide and having everything. But we also have the freedom to, you know, make those programs our own. We have the freedom to take the program, and yes, we have the book and everything, the outline, but if we see the opportunity to make that program and make it fit based on our demographics, our community, our need, what our kids prefer, we have the freedom to do that. As long as we reach the objective at the end, and most of the time the objective is, did our kids learn something? Are they better for it? And, you know, once we meet those objectives, we have the freedom. Like I said, we work with other organizations. So, for example, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, those are mentoring programs. They do a lot of things are in line, you know, with the good citizenship. So they come into, so we do have Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts at our local clubs.
Nice.
The beauty about it is that your kid walks into Boys and Girls Club, and as a parent, most parents really love this, is that they get to be part of Boy Scouts, but they don't have to drive them to troops. They're already at Boy Girl Scouts. So on any given day, you can come in. I mean, over the past couple of years, our kids have participated in First Tee, which is another incredible program teaching our kids golf. They come to the Boys and Girls Club, and our kids walk in, and it may be Friday afternoon, and Mr. George and his mentors show up, and our kids get to play golf. Now, those are one of the programs in trying to be creative in mentoring my boys. I utilized the First Tee and the Boy Scouts program to mentor our boys because they have male mentors. So sometimes we have to be very creative in what we do. But I'm determined that, you know, I'll find the male mentors I need to give our boys the support that they need. But there are good programs out there. So say if we work with local church men's group, that's another group that we utilize. The guys are there already. They are, you know, they have everything in place. So we see if it fits in line with what we are doing, then we utilize it. So we're not that stringent. It's just usually it's just to sit down, have a conversation, and see if what you're doing is in line with what we're doing, and then we can definitely work something out. So
Nice.
we're very flexible. Very flexible.
Nice. I mean, it seems like there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Well, we're gonna go up against a break here. So hang out with me for just a second. So I want people to understand how they can get involved with the Boys and Girls Club and how they can hear about some of the other people that are doing things right here in New Bern. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Charles Tendell Show on New Bern Live, 103.9 FM. We will be right back here on the Charles Tendell Show with Dre Nix, with the Vice President of the Boys and Girls Club. Don't go anywhere.
Take control of your money. Start by listening to The Dave Ramsey Show.
When are you going to get out of debt? Because if you don't have any payments, you have money. That's a big formula right there. Do you know what your car payment is costing you? Yeah. Well, everybody's got a car payment. Yeah, everybody's broke. Why do you want to be like everybody? Everybody's a pretty low bar. Average is a low bar. If you're just doing a tiny bit better than average, then you're just contributing to the average.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 5. WNOS, 103.9 FM and 1450 AM.
Previously on Men on Radio offering nonsensical solutions.
See, I was trying to think of Robert Goulet doing other, like, really famous movie roles, like Shawshank Redemption.
Gone with the Wind.
Oh, Frank
Scarlet, I don't give a damn.
Hope is a dangerous thing. Maybe the best of things. Of all the gin joints and all the cities and all the worlds,
I'll have what she's had. You complete me.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Men on Radio offering nonsensical solutions. Thursday mornings at 8, with a rebroadcast at 6, here on WNOS, 103.9 FM, and 1450 AM.
Y'all ready for this? The County Compass is a rapidly growing, free weekly newspaper throughout eastern North Carolina. At the County Compass, we believe small business is the future of our great nation. Many small business owners have discovered that an ad in the County Compass each week is the most effective, the most affordable way to reach thousands of readers from all walks of life. At the County Compass, we focus entirely on local and regional news, coverage of important issues that directly affect your life.
And welcome back into the Charles Tindall Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is 34 minutes after the hour right here on New Bern Live, or the Charles Tindall Show, 103.9 FM. If you're locked in on your drive this morning, on your 8 a.m. drive safely, get to where you're going. Luckily, hopefully you're not getting caught by the bridge, coming over the bridge here in New Bern. If you are, I'm sorry for that. It's a downtown thing you're going to have to deal with. Reminder for everybody that's out there, it is after the 9th, so yesterday in the downtown city of New Bern, they did start enforcing the 2-hour parking limit. But don't worry, your first one is free. It's kind of on the city there, so you don't have to worry about that one too much. Don't get parked. Did you park out front, or did you park?
Oh yeah, I'm right across the street.
Oh, don't worry. I think you'll be okay. We won't keip you for too long. You'll be good.
That's fine. So first one's free. So.
First one's free. So welcome back to the Charles Tindall Show. We are talking to Mrs. Andrea Nix. I'm sorry, I'm messing up your name. Dre Nix, the Regional Vice President for the Boys and Girls Club here in Craven and Carteret County. And we were talking about how people can get involved, how they can mentor, how they can bring their talents to help young men and women in the area get, more life skills. They can get involved in something. Now, before the break, we were talking about some of the programs and how people can get involved and how you need mentors and things of that nature. One of the things, like, I'm a car guy. Like, I love radio, obviously, but I also like cars and everything else. So me and my son and my kids work on my cars sometimes. Are there programs like that where guys can you said they can come in, they can kind of develop their own thing as long as they meet a certain criteria, they can come in and just offer themselves however they see fit?
Yep. That's fine. Now that's very specific. Mm-hmm. So say if you said, hey Dre, I'd love to introduce, whether boys or girls to, cars and things like that. We'll invite you in and you can share your story, share what you do. Pictures are always good,
Videos,
Facebook video, Facebook. They're very visual. And then we may have a couple of the kids that are interested in, doing that with you, because think about it, they don't do things like that anymore. They really don't. A lot of the traditional things, the hands-on, we don't see that. So anytime there's an opportunity to introduce those types of activities, I'm all for it, because technology has it's great and it's kind of taken over a lot, but the kids, they're missing out on those kind of experiences to me. So I'm very big on introducing those experiences. So say if we have a handful of of the kids that who are interested in what you're offering, then we'll sit down and we will set up a program. So we would literally create a program through but it's more than just teaching them about cars. What you're actually doing is you're mentoring a group of kids by spending that time, because that's what dads and moms have done over the years in the kitchen or the cars, or when you do things like that, it's not about what you're doing, it's that time spent with that individual, talking about things in general, or figuring something out. And that's what it's about. Like I said, it's about building those relationships more than anything else. Is we all, those relationships are important. Most of the time, I bet you still remember your favorite teacher from school.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. A couple of my teachers, more than one of them, changed my life in positive ways. There are a couple of ones that I wish I could go back and still, deal with a little bit.
Right,
but,
and that's what it's about. Like, all the other things is great, but it's really about those relationships. And you never know, we may not be, my goal is to save them all, but we may not. But just think about it. If you can save just one of these kids and just have them turn the corner, or, they're standing on that fence, have them step off on the right side of that fence, that individual, what are they going to do? What are they going to put out into the world? Now, and that influence goes on. Somebody took a chance with me and saw the potential in me over the years. And so now I want to give that back. And that's the main reason why most of us that do what we do every day with Boys and Girls Club, that's the reason why is, to just, you never know when that moment is. I had a young lady that found me. She was my first director's position at the Havelock Club. She was my first group of teenagers there, and I hadn't seen her in years. She's now married with 3 boys of her own, moved back to New Bern, and I happened to be downtown that first summer in 2016 at summer camp while registering her child at the JT Barber site. She saw my card and she came and found me downtown and came to me and she said, "Miss Dre, I just want you to know," she said, "you were hard on us back then at the club, and I just knew I knew everything, but she said, I want you to know that thank you for, always seeing my potential and always insisting that I did things a certain way," because she said, "I can't tell you how much the conversations and all the that you had with me over the years have helped me over, my adult." And it really, you don't get to see your kids, all the time, but for her to come back and say that, it was not that I ever need motivation to do this job, but it really helped in letting me know that what I'm doing is important, and as long as I'll continue to do it. Because you get those stories, you see those stories, and you see those kids. And so now here's one of my first teenagers. Now her 2 boys are in our club. Wow. And she insisted. She said, "Oh no, they're coming to the club with you, Miss Dre, because I know for a fact that they'll, you would reinforce what I'm trying to teach them at home." And that's all we're trying to do.
Very nice. Yeah. Now, in terms of there's a lot of things that we touched on in terms of why young people end up in the club, why they're coming there, what's going on. And you had mentioned a lot of them end up where they're single parent homes, or they're living with grandparents or things of that nature. What do you think is causing that situation in a lot of your experience?
It's a number of things. First and foremost, I don't judge any situation, because you can't judge anyone because you haven't walked in their shoes.
Right? You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows, who we portray out in public may not necessarily represent what's going on when we get home. But I think a lot of it is our families. Families are not. We don't have the family unit like we used to. Again, I'm from the Caribbean, and a little in my background, I didn't have mom, dad, and everything, but I had a lot of support.
You had an island,
and I had yes, and I could go to the beach when things, but there was a lot of support. But I think now what's happening is everyone is so focused on like themselves, that we tend to forget. We forget, or sometimes, and it's different things. They've been hurt by, or they've tried to help someone and, it didn't work out. And then now they're like, well, I'm not. But there's just so many reasons, why, but to me, the biggest thing is, you guys, men are missing, our men are missing from our families. And, and it's not just in the traditional household, because I don't think we've really had traditional households for a
long
while.
Time, yep.
But with every passing year, it's just less and less. And then, to all of us independent ladies out there, and and it's awesome that we can do this, but something I share with my girls all the time. Yes, learn to do for yourself, but I also tell them that what's even more important is we all would love to meet that guy, we'd love to. And he's out there. There's somebody out there for all of us. We just have to be in the right place, right time. But I said, work on yourself, because what are you bringing to the table? Because today or tomorrow, if something happens to him and he's not able to provide for you and the kids or whatever you have, your home and stuff, are you able to pick up the slack? Are you able to continue and to let him know that, in a sense, for lack of a better statement, you have his back? So, and these are lessons that we teach in the club as well through specific, what I refer to them as gender-specific programs. For our girls, it's Smart Girls. For our boys, it's Passport to Manhood. And those are when you can sit, and it's girls only and boys only, and that's one of the conversations I have with my girls. I said, take this time now, you're teen years, you're 20, and work on you. Work. Somebody may come along, but, get yourself prepared, because whether, those of us who are, who walk in faith, when the good Lord puts that person in your path, are you prepared? Are you prepared to do that? Or, he may not be where he wants to be, but do you have what it takes to help him along with yourself to get to where they need to be? And I think, those lessons are not being taught, because I know that, because not only did my grandmother tell me that, not only did my mom and my aunts, but also my grandfather, my uncles, they also taught me those things too. I saw through them, they were able to say to me, most guys, this is what they're looking for. I sum it up as the female that reminds them most of mom, or that special lady in their life. And that, so yes, work on you and things like that, but also and I think if we start having an open mind like that and start thinking and start teaching our girls how to be young women, there's a lot of the traditional things that are missing. And, it's something that I work very hard at in trying to instill in the kids, how to sit at a table, how to eat, when you're in certain settings.
Etiquette.
Everything is not, it's just overall etiquette, please and thank you. It goes a long way, just letting someone know that you appreciate that they did something for them. And we practice what we preach. If one of my kids is walking along and they picked up something from the floor in the club, I make sure, and as staff, we make sure we say, thank you, I really appreciate that, because now that's us teaching them to take ownership of the space. The club is their space. So there's a lot of unique ways that we kind of get those life lessons to them. And those are just unique ways that individuals from the community can also help us in teaching our kids those life lessons.
Nice. Now, in the current climate of things, there's a lot of talk of, like you had said, teaching young ladies to be young ladies and young men to be young men. But there's a lot of talk about this gender role in the world right now, where people are like, you don't have to, there's no gender specific roles anymore. You don't have to do those sorts of things. But in my house, with my tribe and my young ladies and my young men, right, it is boys are boys, girls are girls. This is how we're supposed to behave in particular instances. And, as I grew up, right, this is what we called home training.
Right.
We're missing that in the world right now, and I think it's a lot because we've got young parents, right? Yes. We've got parents themselves who didn't really kind of get that home training.
I got one for you. Can't teach what you don't know.
Exactly. You can't teach what you don't know. So you've got young parents having children, and now they're trying to figure out what's going on. And because they didn't have whatever it was they were supposed to figured out,
exactly,
it impacts the legacy of that one, which is where the Boys and Girls Club comes in, with people coming in and doing these mentor programs and things of that nature. Now, in terms of people. Like, how many young people are we talking about that are sitting at the Boys and Girls Club that need these male mentors or these female mentors? Because there's a whole ton of people out there. Like, I'm on the board of executives for Young Urban Professionals here in New Bern, and there's a ton of professionals that would love to be able to mentor and get involved and engage with and help young people do these things. It's kind of the whole group's mission in life. So how many young people are we talking about, and what kind of resources do you need almost now?
Thousands of young people. Every club is different. One club will average over 100 plus kids a day, and here in New Bern, we average about 80 to 90, sometimes 90 kids. We've had days in summer camp where we've had 100 plus kids in summer camp. So there's lots of kids out there. There's a lot of them, and anyone who's interested in getting involved, like I said, it's really just a conversation. Just reach out. Whether you reach out to me via our Facebook page or our website, my email address, dnix@bgccp.com.
There you go.
That's usually the best way because we all email follows us everywhere with our smartphones. And usually I would set up a meeting wherever and just get to hear what would you like to do, because I think it's important in order to hold on to volunteers or even individuals and organizations in the community to find out what are they trying to do. So I listen to and see what they're doing, what everyone, if it's an organization, they have a mission as well. So what is your mission and what are you trying to accomplish? And then we see how that fits with each other. So it really just starts with a conversation. It really does. And from that conversation, I can say that over the years, lots of great relationships, because I guarantee most folks, once they get started, usually it's like, well, I'll start with a day or so. And then, they keep coming in because, for one, you become part of our Boys and Girls Club family now. Your organization, folks connected with you, you're part of what we do, and you realize because you also start to see the changes, not only in maybe that one or that group of kids that you're working with, but just the environment in the club, and you see different things, and then all of a sudden now, I don't know where it comes from, but folks is like, oh, well, I was thinking and I saw this and I think this would be that's what we want, so I'm all about bringing the community into our clubs. And yes, I do serve Craven and Carteret County, but I know you have listeners all
everywhere,
over. And I just want everyone to know that we have clubs. We have 17 clubs in our organization.
Wow.
Three regions. And so we're here from Beaufort, which is our, Region 3's oldest club. It's been there 20 plus years, to Pitt County, Belhaven, all over. So there's tons of clubs. All of our clubs are listed on our website with a contact for all the club directors or the regional VPs.
Nice.
Usually contacting the regional VP in order to figure out which club you'll best serve. It's a good way. But we always need the community. We cannot do what we do without the help of the community, whether financially or time and talent. Those are the three things that, that's where the greatest need is.
For me, it's I've had my tribe in here. Right? I've had my little people in here. In fact, they've helped me do a couple of different things inside the studio to get involved. But I'm always looking for young people. I'm always like the high school, New Bern High School kids from over there. Anybody interested in broadcasting or in media or anything like that, coming out and getting involved with a program or doing something like that. Because it's really not only is it something that teaches somebody a craft. Like old school radio, right? Old school radio is going by the wayside. Right. People are like, oh, we're not doing old school radio anymore. And I'm like, no. That's a craft that needs to be held on to. And like you had said, welding and just etiquette and things of these nature. This is all things that people need to team up with the Boys and Girls Club to actually help them. So they can go to the website. It's bgccp.com.
Yes.
And then find it locally. And then your email one more time is dnix@bgccp.com.
Sure is.
Nice. So in terms of what, the whole reason we're talking is there was a local business here locally that actually gave you guys, I saw the giant check, gave you a big check and some money and things of that nature. Businesses supporting you, organizations supporting you. Is there a limit, or can they just partner up with you and say, hey, we want to give give you, I mean, I'm sure nobody ever says, I'm not going to take your money.
Right.
No,
we won't do that.
But, other than just giving their money, they can donate their time, their resources, their people, and bring them to the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes. And the best way to do that is to reach out to in our region, and well, I think she works right across the region. Taylor Shannon is our marketing director, and she's the best person to reach out to, because then she'll have that conversation and find out what would you like to do, and then she takes that information and she distributes it out to all of the regional VPs and say, hey, I just had a conversation with so and so from this restaurant or this organization, and this is what they're trying to do. And then we go from there, because we want to put you where you're best suited and where we can utilize your time and talent, or make sure that we're good stewards of whatever funding that we do. Love those big checks and things like that. But we're very we work very hard to make sure that we're good stewards of any funding that comes to our program. Individuals, may also want to contribute financially, and they have the opportunity. I know it's a little confusing for folks with the merger and things like that, so we're still trying to explain everything. But you can, if most people love their community, and so if, say, yourself as an individual wanted to contribute, you can designate your dollars to your specific club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you can, even though there's a lot of clubs. If you live in Craven County, there's 2 clubs. There's Havelock and there's New Bern. You can say, I'd like my monies to go specifically to the Havelock Club, or specifically to New Bern, same in Carteret County with the Sunshine Lady in Moorhead and the Beaufort Club, any of our clubs. So you can designate your dollars to, and then also there's other folks that will donate dollars, and usually if they have a conversation with myself or with Taylor, they will get more information. They may have, let me see, I'll use a great relationship that we have in New Bern here. The New Bern Women's Club, I was talking about the Smart Girls program, or what they do for us every year, and it's the sweetest thing is at the end of our Smart Girls program, we do a graduation, but we do a tea party. We host a tea party for our girls. And the New Bern Women's Club, they were one of my first, pretty much presentations when I got here back in 2015. And I used the opportunity. I'm sitting there in a room of, glamorous ladies, and I'm like, wouldn't it be good to get these ladies connected to a specific program? Because they wanted to help. They just weren't sure how they can help. So I told them about the Smart Girls program, and they were all sold on it. And now we know every year, my girls know every May, just before Mother's Day, we have old-fashioned tea party. We wear our hats and we dress up, and moms and the girls or grandmas, and they come, and we just and it's a great experience. And the ladies at the club, they love it. I mean, they love these girls. They love to see how, because they'll see them, they grow up. Last year, the 6-year-old is now 7, and so it's just great. And so they all, get something from that, because our girls they're given an experience that they otherwise probably would not have. And what I found as well is mom and aunties and grandmas, they actually have a great time. The first one we did, most of the grandmas and moms, they came, they said, Miss Dre, this is so awesome. Thank you so much, because it reminded them of their, years gone past, and things, we had our gloves on and our hats, and it was just an old-fashioned tea party. And I love it. It's my favorite event of the year, and I'm trying to do something like that for our boys. Yeah. We're able to get together with First Tee and Emerald Golf Course and hosted the guys, the boys and dads and uncles and all the mentors, and they went to the golf course. We had some food and they got to play golf and hang out.
Different kind of tea party.
Right. But it was awesome. And I had one of the dads, and this is, and I do want to share this story, because this dad, he had not seen his son all year. He hadn't seen his son all year. He was fortunately, but it's the reality of our life today. He was incarcerated, and so he was able to make. Actually, we weren't sure if he was going to make the event. I was speaking to his mom, but this young man had done so well, and I told his mom, I said, even if you have to come with him to this, he needs to be there.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, Miss Dre, I just don't want, she didn't want him to feel different because mom was there. I said, I'll be there. So, fine. But, you know, Dad was able to come, and just watching the interaction between this young man and his dad, you know, and that's what it's about. You know, that's what it's about. But that's the reality of our kids' lives, you know, and to be able to give that experience. His dad came up to me after and he said, Ms. Dre, thank you so much for doing this. He said, I know it's just timing. He said, but it was just nice just to have this time with him. And he talked about all the cool stuff that he did with you guys this year and stuff. He said, and, you know, and I said, well, you know, you have a job now. I said, I'm going to do my part here. And we're here to support you, but he needs you and stuff. And I'm happy to say that, you know, he's, you know, young man is doing incredible. You know, his behavior has improved at school. You know, I don't have to go in the classroom as much anymore to, but those moments, that's when we know what we're doing. But it also let me know in that moment as a Boys and Girls Club professional, it also let me know the power of that male mentor and why our boys need you. Yeah.
Nice. No, I mean, it's a seriously different scenario. I mean, it's a noticeable change in young men when there's a male figure in their lives. It is. You know, I've seen a few young men, and even my son. Right, when I would travel or I would be gone, I'm former military, and I've had all the occasions where I wasn't around for a while. But he comes that point where he's okay for a little bit without Dad, but then eventually it just comes back around. He doesn't know how to express it. He doesn't know what's going on. He starts getting in trouble. Starts kind of acting out in school, and then as soon as Dad shows up, or as soon as the male shows up, and it's like, okay, I got to get back on track and get things together.
Because you're his superhero. You know, you know, dads are, you know, you're their superhero, and you know, I just, you know, it's my platform is, you know, encouraging the community to get involved, and in any way, any possible way. I love everyone to come to Boys and Girls Club, but there's lots of, you know, the schools need, you know, mentors. You know, everyone, you know, we just need, and like I said, just time, talent, and 1 hour out of the month. 1 hour.
1 hour. 1 hour.
1 hour of the month.
That is less than National Guard. 1 hour.
1 hour of the month. Just give us 1 hour, and I guarantee you that you would want to do more. You'd want to get more involved, even if it's in that young man's life. But, you know, so that's the goal, is to just, and please, you know, anyone, you know, my email is there. You can find me on our webpage. Just please reach out if you have an organization, and I'm very interested in talking to you about that group that you work with.
Oh, yes. We'll definitely have that conversation. I mean, we are almost out of time. And so one more time, the website, bgccp.com. And they can email you at dnix@bgccp.com to get involved in the local Boys and Girls Club for Craven and Carteret
counties. Yeah, but our website has all of our clubs listed, phone numbers and web addresses and everything.
Nice. Well, Dre, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming in. Guys, you know the music means we're out of time. Don't forget, we've got the Let's Cope and a few other things happening out here at Newbern Live. But that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, it is Wednesday with Wendy Card. But that's it. I'm out of here on the Charles Tindall Show. We'll see you out.
Do you ever feel like autumn leaves blown in the wind? Like it's never gonna end, never ends. Prayers up to heaven that His blessings it would send. And the struggling